Hawkeye fans receiving great news this week with Iowa football wide receiver Nico Ragaini announcing that he will be returning for an extra year at Iowa. This was news that had been rumored. I'd talked about it in the past. I thought this was going to happen, but it's nice to know it's official before the bowl game. We'll talk about the implications for a wide receiver room that's thin, still trying to pad numbers in the portal, and certainly production. They're going to have some production to replace. We'll talk about it in a second. Iowa Floor Covering, though, they're sponsoring the segment here today. Thank you to IFC. Check out their Tough Core Click Together 4.5 millimeter waterproof vinyl flooring. It's quality stuff, and it's available at $269 per foot with self-installation. Visit iowafloorcovering.com/DIY. The boys down at IFC, right down in the heart of Iowa in Bondurant. Check out their stuff, iowafloorcovering.com/DIY. So yes, Nico Ragaini returning to the Hawkeyes, letting the media know this on Tuesday. And again, this had been out there, had been rumored, and I was under the impression that he was probably going to return. Good to know it's official now. And could he have went to the NFL? He would have probably gotten into a camp. I don't know that Nico Ragaini is an NFL wide receiver. I do think he showcased some improved skill this year when he came back from injury. Remember, he missed games early. When he returned, I thought he was really good. I thought he was a really reliable pass catcher. And let's be honest, he struggled with drops last year. I thought it was no question their best receiver when he returned. No offense to Arlen Bruce. And of course, Keegan Johnson was out with an injury, as was Deontay Vines much of the year. He's a good route runner. He's not going to blow you away with speed. But you wonder what kind of a jump can he make in 2023. And regardless of what you want to say about the Iowa offense, this is the right move, in my opinion, for Nico Ragaini to come back and develop an extra year. Now, one could argue, hey, you should go into the portal and go get developed by someone like Purdue, or maybe now Louisville, now that Jeff Brom is down at Louisville. But regardless, for Hawkeye fans, this is huge news. Iowa will be getting the services of Cade McNamara next year. We know Eric All from Michigan coming with him, a tight end. But the Hawkeyes are losing Keegan Johnson. They are losing Arlen Bruce. Deontay Vines opted to return. That's good news. So you get Vines and Ragaini as kind of building blocks. And then Brody Brecht's a young guy who's going to continue to develop, although his focus is not only on football, it's also on baseball. You hope Jacob Bostic from Illinois can develop, and the Hawkeyes are still looking for a wide receiver or two in the transfer portal. Now, I've had a number of people ask me about Isaac TeSlaa, the Hillsdale College Division II transfer wide receiver that visited Iowa not that long ago. Remember, he also visited Iowa State, and since then he has piled up the offers. We're talking offers from Miami, Houston, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss. Go down the list. Texas A&M, Colorado offered the other day. So it's going to be hard to land Isaac TeSlaa. And remember, if you're just comparing the two schools that he's visited, Iowa and Iowa State, which school would you rather go to play wide receiver? Regardless of what team you root for, I think you'd probably admit it's Iowa State. We talk about Alan Lazard, Akeem Butler, and certainly here recently with Xavier Hutchinson. I'm not saying that TeSlaa will end up at Iowa State. I've been told he's visiting Baylor as well. But the point is, almost everybody wants him now, and it's going to be hard for Iowa to seal the deal on TeSlaa, and I don't know that he's in any rush to make a decision. I will say this, it's always a good thing when you can get in on a kid early. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to commit. Fran McCaffrey, on the basketball side of things, has found that out the hard way. But it's good that Iowa offered him early, got him to campus early. So we'll see where he ends up committing. Boy, it'd be huge if you could land him. And you feel better, right, as a fan, knowing that all these other schools are offering him. Not anything against Kelton Copeland, Brian Ferentz, and Kirk Ferentz, but I think evaluation-wise, you probably trust some of these other guys, whether we're talking about Deion Sanders in Colorado or even Iowa State. You trust those programs to evaluate wide receivers maybe a little bit more than you would the Iowa staff. So if Iowa could somehow land him, great news. And as it relates to Seth Anderson, the Charleston Southern transfer, he is wanted by Iowa, Georgia Tech, Appalachian State, a number of other group of fives. But the two Power Five offers currently in for Seth Anderson are Georgia Tech and Iowa. I was told he plans to visit Kansas in January. We'll see if that actually happens. I think that's about a week away. I would not expect a decision from Seth until at least next week. So I'm not going to hear anything this week from Seth Anderson. I don't know how to feel. He did visit Iowa recently as well, but Georgia Tech originally had a preferred walk-on opportunity for Seth. They've now extended a full scholarship offer to Seth Anderson. He came up here when it was really cold. So if you're comparing playing down in Georgia and playing in Iowa City, weather has to be factored into this. So that's a factor, and certainly offense and whatnot. Georgia Tech did just lose a pretty good receiver to the portal. They're hiring a new wide receivers coach down there as well. So lots of storylines. The Hawkeyes, will they make coaching staff changes? I'm not aware of any, but certainly we'll find that out after the bowl game. So regardless, I know we're kind of beating around the bush here. Nico Ragaini coming back is huge. It will provide an extra security blanket for Cade McNamara. I expect Cade's top 2 targets next year to be Eric All because of chemistry, camaraderie. Yes, I know Luke Lachey is back. I expect his 2 top targets to be Eric All and Nico Ragaini, and hopefully somebody else emerges. Hopefully they can land a TeSlaa or an Anderson. Hopefully you land both, and then Vines and Breck, and you'll have some good competition in that wide receiver room. And if Iowa doubles down on the staff, you hope that personnel-wise they can make up for maybe some deficiencies with development or even scheme. I mean, they need to make some changes there, as we know, but Charlie Jones, Keegan Johnson, Arlen Bruce are all examples of why the scheme needs to change, and I think staff changes need to be made. But anyways, we'll talk about that at a different time. Appreciate you tuning in for another segment here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Iowa postgame with Coach Gary Close after Iowa-Nebraska men's basketball on Thursday night. Iowa-Kentucky in the Music City Bowl postgame coverage with Coach Patterson right here from the Hawkeye of the Storm following the game this Saturday. We'll talk to you soon.